So without any further ado, I want to ask our candidate for the 22nd District, looking to represent us in the House of Representatives and looking to unseat David Valadao, Mr. Chris Mathys.
Thank you very much. First of all, I want to say it's an absolute honor to be here in front of the California Republican Assembly. You're what it means to be a conservative, you're patriots, and I'm grateful and thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak with you this evening. Let me start out with why I'm running and tell you a little bit about myself. I'm basically a farm boy from a place called Sanger, which is a little town next to Fresno. I grew up on a citrus grove. Parents taught me hard work is the answer. Get up in the morning, get the job done, and always love your country. After graduating from high school there, I followed my dad, grandpa, and my brother and joined the United States Army. I was proud to serve. One thing they teach in the Army, freedom is not free, and America always comes first. I got deployed down to Panama in 1985, was proud to serve there in Southern Command, and I learned that when you're in Panama and in some of these other foreign countries, it sure is a blessing to come home. America is a great country, and we need to appreciate and cherish how great of a country we really are. Let me tell you why I'm running. I personally think that our last president, Donald Trump, did a tremendous job in America. He put us first. We had a border that was secure. People that wanted to come here had to follow what was called Title 42. We knew who was coming over, and we controlled who was coming over. Being an American is a privilege, not a right. And if you want to come here, you need to come here to work hard, be a proud American, learn the language, assimilate, and don't try to change us. We're doing things right. We've been around over 200 years. We don't need people to come from other countries and tell us how to live. Right. And so as far as I'm concerned is, if you want to come to America, earn it. A couple things that are important to me, growing up in a ranch, we take our Second Amendment rights very seriously. As Americans, we do have a right to keep and bear arms. That right shall not be infringed upon, and if that right should never be taken away from us. As Americans, we have a Constitution, we need to follow it. And you have my word, I will protect that Second Amendment and make sure that any changes or attempts, especially on the federal level, I will fight. Things like a universal background check, definitely not necessary. I trust Americans with their ability to possess a firearm. We don't need big government trying to control it. Other thing important to me is life. To me, life starts in conception. I think it's so important that we protect our unborn children. And then finally, our Constitution. There's so many attempts to change our Constitution. They want to weaken it, they want to alter it. We need to stick with our Constitution. It's worked for over 200 years. It's the document that keeps America proud and safe, and so let's stick with it and not change it.
That's right.
Talking a little bit about our world, let me start out with our foreign policy, the Ukraine. Personally, I don't believe that as Americans we should spend $100 billion climbing in the Ukraine of our tax dollars when we have so many needs and so many things that are important here in America. And you have my word to put America first and not to send that kind of funding, that kind of money overseas, where in reality, how is that helping us? If you look around you, look at our homeless population. Look at young moms trying to make it work. You can't buy a house anymore because interest rates are so high. We have record inflation. If you're on a fixed income, you have to deal with increased costs. It's time to focus on our government here and our lives. And if you look at our tenure under President Trump, interest rates were a lot lower. I think we could afford gas. I mean, gas is, over $6 a gallon now. We didn't have the inflation we have. So I think it's time that we put America first and make sure that we can afford to live here. The other thing important is the oil and gas industry. Kern County is blessed with tremendous oil and gas reserves. I think we need to do what we can to make sure that we have the ability to drill and get the permits we need. If you look at the two presidents, the first thing President Trump did is he finished the Dakota pipeline. The first thing President Biden did is he shut down the Keystone pipeline. That just shows you the direction that the former president went and where we're going now. The other thing is just our morals. We're a Christian nation. We love God. We don't need our schools to teach our children that they can determine if they're a boy or girl. God took care of that. And so let's hold on to those values that we have with mom and dad and the grandparents and the influence, the family. Family comes first. The family should be raising our children, not the government. I don't support Hillary Clinton when she said it takes a village to raise a child. I trust all of you with your children and your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren. And the biggest blessing for me is I was a single dad. And my mother and father were retired and helped me a lot with my son. And it made him better for it. It made him a good man. And so, to me, that's also extremely important. And then finally, I just wanted to let you know, coming from a ranching background, that I will always make sure that our farmers get the strong voice they need in Washington. Water is the secret,
That's right.
we need water. And at our ranch, we're blessed. This last year, we had record rainfall. It was so bad that we actually had to go in and bulldoze some of our roads because they got washed out. And we still have enough forage on the ground that'll keep our cattle nice and heavy the next year around. So another favor I ask before I stop talking is please eat a lot of beef. Because beef is good and it's healthy, and don't stay away from that Beyond Meat. Just stick with good California grass-fed beef, exactly. Because they're trying to take that away from us too. They want us all to eat food in a test tube. And personally, I'd rather get a good steer and butcher it and eat that fresh meat. So basically, that's me in a nutshell. Chris Mathys, conservative Republican. I do have some experience in government. I was on the Fresno City Council. Please don't hold that against me. But on the council, one thing you learn, you have to work to get things done. I was proud to work with my colleagues. There were only 2 conservatives, keep in mind, and there were 7 of us. And they beat us up every week. That Fresno Bee and I got into it weekly. Anything we tried to work on as far as conservative values, they were always against us, but we were able to get things done. And so what I tell folks is, even if you're not a Republican or an independent Democrat, if we can get things done that'll help the community, I'm all for it, as long as it doesn't affect our conservative, rock-solid values. And with that, Chris Mathys, conservative Republican, mathyscongress.com. If you have a little extra change, we'd be honored for it. I also want to introduce Raul, gentleman there, and one little advantage we do have, nosotros hablamos español. I know that that's not that important here, but it is very important in the district. You can ask Raul. I would say of the people we talk to, door by door, 20 to 30% are speaking Spanish with us. So because part of my training in the Army was learning Spanish, si lo hablo. And it will help us a lot, especially in the general election. So I want to give that a little bit to you as well. And finally, let me tell you why I could win, because the first thing we're going to say is, well, how could this guy beat Valadao? First of all, the main issue that's still fresh in people's mind is we had a Republican congressman that represents our district that voted to fire a Republican president. There is no answer for that, no excuse. You have my word, especially if President Trump becomes the President of the United States, which I believe he will be, that I will stand behind him 100%. He will have a friend. And finally, the good news is, normally in these elections, they craft and get kind of slick, and they want to run a bunch of people because that dilutes the vote, and then the incumbent has the upper edge. But guess what happened this time? They didn't do it. The one guy that ran last time that took 3,000 votes, he's endorsed us, Adam Medeiros. He's a hairdresser out of Hanford. And keep in mind, we only lost by 2.5%. It was razor thin. So with your help and your vote, we can bring this back to a conservative congressional district. It'd be an honor, Chris Mathys. Thank you so much for your time. I'll take it on the question and answer then.